Welcome back to the Acoustic Shoppe channel. I am so excited. Today we are bringing in a brand new line for the Acoustic Shoppe. Awesome guitars. Let's get introduced to Maton Guitars. So this is exciting, guys. I am thrilled that we are now going to be able to announce that we are going to be carrying Maton guitars, and we got some great ones to talk about. I've got Rob here, and I've got Kevin. We're going to be talking about Maton History. We're going to be talking about the guitars that are here, and also what's really exciting, which is what's coming from Maton, which is the new Master Built series as well. So there's a lot to cover here today. Yeah. I'm glad to have you guys with us.
Thanks
this
for
is going to be
us.
fun.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
This is very cool. So Maton, for a lot of folks, don't know that this is a company that has been around a very long time. This is a legacy brand.
Yeah, yeah. If you're from Australia, you know this brand like you know Gibson, like you know Fender.
In fact, what was the first year of Maton?
So 1946, which is by coincidence the same year Leo Fender opened up his Fullerton production.
They didn't talk to each other.
No, before the internet.
Didn't coordinate.
Just right after electricity, I guess. But they...
You just made some older people very upset. Good job.
No, but his name was Bill May. He started in 1946 in his garage, and he was a jazz guitar player and teacher in woodwork. And Australia had a hard time importing anything, and he started creating guitars. His first guitar is at the Maton Museum still, and Maton is still run by the family, the May family.
Really?
And Maton, the name is pronounced Maton, like it rhymes with Dayton. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. It's pronounced Maton, but his name is Bill May, and it's sort of started as Maton, but they dropped the E on tone and it became Maton. Might be the Australian accent.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it an Australian thing? It's not one of those shrimp on the Barbie. How many times do they get sick of all of us Americans talking about shrimp on the Barbie?
Probably quite a bit.
But this is, I found this out before we started talking with either one of you guys about these guitars. But this is a legendary brand, especially for folks in Australia. And there is a guitar scene that is happening there.
Yeah, and some great players from Australia that are in America now that play.
Yes. In fact, we've got some models here from one of the big ones that everybody has become, that I personally find synonymous with the brand, is Tommy Emmanuel. And we're going to be talking more about those guitars as well. But there's others. Help me out with some of the other artists that are coming in.
Tommy Emmanuel started playing Maton when he was 4 years old. I should have brought the book with the picture, but him and his brother Phil were both great. Phil was a great guitar player as well.
Yes.
But they played Maton since they were 4. Keith Urban's been playing, I think, since he was 4. Another American/Australian guitar player. But pretty much any band from Australia you will find in the history books, like Air Supply, ABBA, just any band. Colin Hayes, another popular sort of American artist that's Australian. He's actually Scottish, but he owns 8 Maton guitars, and there's just a ton of history with the brand.
Goes on, like you said, lots of legacy players, lots of people playing them, but what really started to set them apart was the development of the pickup systems.
That is correct.
And this was a world, acoustic guitar pickups went through some massive transitions, and it wasn't until, mid-70s, is that about right? When these pickups were like really becoming more necessary, and people wanted them in higher quality guitars. Yeah. And this is a totally different design than what a lot of people are using for guitars.
From my era, I think Ovation was sort of the trendsetter.
Yes.
With the round back guitars, but with the pickup system, that was like everybody's go-to to plug in and get at that time, a reasonable sound of an acoustic guitar sound.
It became a necessity because
of plastic guitar.
Yes, but it became a necessity because of the stage volumes. We had more bands needing to be louder and wanting acoustic tone, and there wasn't a whole lot out of there. And you're correct. For me, my recollection. Yeah, that's it. That's the word I'm looking for. Was Ovation, and that led into Takamine, who ended up sharing the same technology of the two brands. In fact, a lot of companies and a lot of artists were taking the pickup systems out of those guitars and putting them in their acoustic guitars, and that's where we kind of lead into what Maton is right now, which is that perfect blending of an acoustic guitar that sounds great acoustically, but with pickup technology that is far beyond anything that I've ever heard. And I know that's harder for you guys to say than it is for me. I mean, you're supposed to say it, but it's hard to say it on
We
camera.
can think of it, we can say it.
Yeah. But we can explain why.
Yeah, okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
But let's go back just a little bit into this. What inspired them on? Do you guys know, either one of you know, what made them decide, hey, we're going to not just build a great acoustic guitar, we're going to build a better pickup system?
It was Tommy Emmanuel came to us and said, love your guitars, been playing them since I was 4, but we need to do something to make the pickup to the times. So he spent years and years going back and forth with the Maton team and developing it. And he would test them on the road and come back and say, not quite, try it again, this is what I'm experiencing. It's either, for example, maybe he had too much bass or too much treble or not enough volume, so they went round and round for, I think this was a several-year process. And they dialed it in until he was happy, and he was the main inspiration for the pickup system.
So most acoustic guitar pickups, everybody complains about the quack, the piezo quack, you know, the thing that's there. What was the big fight, and do you know what the basis in the early production stuff? Because I'm assuming this is not generation 1 here.
No.
This is a version that's kind of been tweaked upon and tweaked upon.
I think this is version 3. This is called an AP5 Pro. The last one was called an AP5 mic, and then I believe it was an AP4 before that. I don't believe there was an AP2, 3, or 1, so I believe the 4 was the first
Well,
one.
there was. It just never saw the market. Yeah.
So it obviously, you know, there probably was those same discussions. We have an acoustic-ish sound. There's some quick quackiness. There's some things that have to be done. So what were some of the ways to address that?
A couple things. So there's 6 piezo's under the saddle, but conveniently it's controlled by one little volume control. So you just have that one volume to control that. And having 6 piezo's underneath here is more natural sounding, because back when I was starting to play acoustic electric guitars, I'd plug one in and my high E string was really quiet, and my low E string, or my D string especially, was really loud. So that kind of took care of that, and it takes care of the quack as well with the way the pickup is constructed. I can't explain in detail what they did to get the quack going, but they took the quack out. But the 6 piezo's makes it so that all the strings are really even. So if you play finger style and you hit the low E string with your thumb, it's there. And if you hit the high E string with your pinky, it's there. If you play with a pick, it's all there, nice and even. But the AP5 Pro came in. The Pro basically means there's a microphone inside, and we might see it on the camera if I stick my finger in there. Maybe not at this angle, but there's a microphone inside on a gooseneck.
I can actually see it, and
You
maybe
should
I
be able to
can
grab it.
reach.
Yeah.
Very small diaphragm condenser in there.
Here's me going and grabbing at your guitar here. Hey, look at this!
There you go.
I was able to do it. All
You
right,
can see it on
there
the
you
camera.
go.
Try
Yeah.
this at home, kids.
So the microphone was added to get a more natural acoustic guitar sound, and take away some quack as well, but mainly to give you like that studio condenser mic or ribbon mic technology sound blended with the piezo. So it's recommended that the piezo is your tone, and the EQ, by the way, works for the piezo. So there's a bass, a treble, and then a sweepable mid-range on this EQ. That only works for the piezo. It doesn't change the microphone. The microphone is preset at a high pass frequency, and it just adds nuance or realisms.
From a mixing standpoint, you just mix in that mic about half the volume of the piezo, and you'll get the ambience from the top and the high frequency resonance that you don't get.
And then if you want some more of that, obviously you could blend in
Yeah,
some
you
more
can
still.
move it around.
If you're a
Yeah.
percussion player where you're tapping on your guitar, like a lot of modern players, you would probably turn up the microphone. If you don't want any shirt noise or finger squeaks and you want a darker sound, you would probably turn off the microphone or turn it down. I personally, with Kevin, I start mine halfway, and it just warms it up and makes it sound more like a studio microphone type tone.
Just kind of gets the things the piezo misses.
Yeah.
You know, piezo gets all the dynamics, the tone, the mid-range tone, but the higher frequencies and the resonance from the top, it can't reproduce. The mic grabs that.
And the big secret that you were asking initially was, you know, what do we do or how do we get that sound? But being that it's a high frequency microphone, you can turn up the guitar a lot louder in front of an amplifier with the speaker, and very good feedback reduction compared to a lot of other pickups have a microphone, but it's a full frequency microphone, so it's more prone to feedback. This guitar, I use like a column array style speaker a lot of times, and I can stand right in front of the speaker at a volume for 200 or 300 people, and I'm you to me away from the speaker, and I don't use a feedback buster, and I can hear my guitar acoustically, and I can hear it electrically without feedback.
That's awesome.
Tommy uses a feedback buster, which we do offer, by the way, that just pops in the sound hole that you can get extreme volumes with.
Which,
a fair amount of volume,
yeah,
and he bangs on the guitar.
If you have not seen his show, which I have multiple times, this is a loud, energetic show for a one man standing there with a guitar. To be able to get that to happen, obviously there's some magic going on here, and that's awesome. But I think we need to take a step back, and again, how do you want to address this? This is not about just a pickup system. I mean, I think we all agree that that's the highlight. That is one of the major highlights of what this is. But there have been other companies that have done similar types of pickup setups. Maybe not to the success of what this particular one is. In fact, in my opinion, has not hit the success of what this is. But where I think this really becomes magical is we're talking about great sounding guitars in the first place.
That's right.
So talk about the build style of what Maton does, because again, I think most people don't understand. This is not a super mass produced company.
No. When they started in 1946, they produced in Australia in his garage. It's still today, it's made in Australia. Never made outside. No Maton labeled guitars were ever made anywhere else but Australia. There's a lot of handwork done. It's a dovetail neck joint. There is some computer CNC consistency for building, but I would say it's very hand built, and just high quality. They're trying to get the best sounding acoustic instrument, like you said, beyond the pickup. The first concern is getting the acoustic sound to be very usable as well. And for me personally, I would have no problem taking this guitar into a studio and having a mic.
No, I mean it's full, it's rich, it's very responsive. Like, that's not that everybody wants to me bang on a guitar, but this is not all about a pickup setup.
Yeah.
And they're also using some native woods. One thing that I'm a big fan of that we read about is sustainability in their mission over there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you got anything to add to some of the cool woods and stuff that they're using?
Rob?
Yeah, since I have this guitar here, this is Queensland maple.
Yeah.
It's more in the mahogany sounding family than maple, I would say. And this is sort of the color of the guitar. It is tinted a little bit, but it's a great tone. It's, again, very more mahogany sound than maple. Bill May also founded Blackwood as guitar use, and there's some other manufacturers using Blackwood as well.
It's become real popular lately.
Yeah, Blackwood is very similar. It's the same, I forget the scientific name. It starts with like cicada, not cicada, but it's going on in my hometown now.
I bet it is.
But it's a very similar wood to koa, but it grows in Australia. And Blackwood has a rich, deep type, almost rosewoodish sound, but a little bit kind of in between mahogany and rosewood.
Which is really cool about Blackwood, by the way, when I've seen it, is you're right, it has a lot of character of look of the koa, which a lot of people love. We all love koa. I personally have not been the biggest fan. I played some that I loved, don't get me wrong, but it's not my go-to. But you're right, there is a tonal difference between Blackwood and koa, which is actually really cool to see Maton using that.
Yeah, and the guitar range, popularity for the guitars is Blackwood. Queensland maple, Tommy prefers the Queensland maple because, again, it doesn't have a lot of boom to it, so you can turn it up louder. As a general rule, I think the bigger the sound acoustically, the more problematic potential for electric playing, and vice versa, So Queensland maple, Blackwood, and then we do use Indian rosewood like the one you have there as well, and then there's some other woods. We'll show you some Masterbuilts later with the Australian cedar and some other woods, but those are the popular.
Yeah, and back to his dynamic playing, that's why he plays the Queensland maple. It doesn't get away from him when he plays the lower tones aggressively.
Yeah, gets more power without fighting him back.
Yeah.
But the guitar you're holding is our 808 shape. That's Maton's had it for, I think, 40 years now. And what it is, it's similar to a classical size body, but with a dreadnought depth. And a larger sound hole as well. So it's very comfortable to play with your right arm over the guitar.
It sure is.
And but for that little guitar, as you heard in the microphone earlier when you played it, it has a pretty big sound. If you strum on it with a pick, it gets pretty loud and full sounding. And
that's rosewood, back and sides, right, and mahogany neck.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it right now. Most of you that are watching are not subscribers. You haven't done that for us, and it's important. It actually is what will help drive our channel more than anything. So if you could take 1 second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, maybe ding the bell. Have you guys subscribed? Neither one of you?
Yes, I am a subscriber.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was hoping to get 2 more, but anyway, please do that. It is very important, and I just can't thank you enough. So now let's talk a little bit about the standard series, and this has been around for a while. Mostly this body, like you said, this is one of the original body shapes that they were building.
Yes, the 808.
The 808. So the standard series, what has that been all about? And up until, I guess that's the standard.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah, it's a production guitar, but it's still made by a small amount of folks in Australia. It's still dovetail neck joint. It's still quality woods and all solid woods, and all the guitars have the AP5 Pro pickup with the microphone system in it as well.
When you say a small group of people, how many people are working right
There's
now?
100 people total at Maton. In the production area, it's probably more like 70.
And rough in numbers, because I know one thing that we're going to discuss, we might as well discuss it right now, is there is a huge market for this in Australia as well as Europe. This is a major brand. And even though a lot of people aren't as familiar here in the States, there's a lot of guitars that are being played throughout that entire area. So what kind of production numbers are we talking about, roughly?
Australia makes around 7,000 guitars a year. They could actually sell more than that in Australia alone because it's such a legacy brand there. But America's important to them, so we only get way less than 1,000 guitars a year.
Which is funny because U.S. For acoustic has been known as the largest acoustic market, and has been.
They're generous in giving us less than 1,000 guitars to fill the market, but obviously the demand could be much higher, and it is. But they're a little hard to get sometimes, but it's sort of a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So building a hand-built guitar, we're talking about these low numbers. So like you said, we're doing dovetail hand-built finishes. The standard series, most of them are going to be in a satin finish, correct?
Correct. Nitro satin.
Nitro. Okay, that's awesome. Those of you guys know there is some differences with the different finishes, and they're all great. But there is a tonal character to each one of them, so it's good to know which ones are which. So all the standards, most of them are going to be in a satin finish Nitro.
Correct.
There are some options outside of that, so I don't want you to get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
So I'm holding this one. You have the Tommy Emmanuel,
Yeah, this
correct?
is one of our best sellers, of course, for Tommy Emmanuel, but this is the Queensland maple wood. And you're holding a rosewood guitar, and Kevin's holding a blackwood guitar. There's some other
SRS
options in
70.
the standards, yeah.
Yeah.
So that leads us now into the Masterbuilt series. This is the one that kind of piqued my interest and made us kind of pull forward, which again, you had already established quite a few dealers, and this is not a massive amount of guitars that are in the U.S., but I was really excited when we talked about the opportunity with this, which is the new Masterbuilt series. This is bringing a lot more of the higher end boutique features into the line, but yet keeping all of the character of what Maton's has been all about. Keeping the same pickup system. Now we're moving into gloss finishes, except for one.
That's
and
right.
This is the guitar you're holding. Well, let's go ahead through these. This is the Ellie Mae, which is, by the way, the one I absolutely fell in love with when I play this. I haven't got to play this one yet, so I'm looking forward to this. I love this peg head and the look and the overall appeal of this guitar, and I loved it when I played it. You're holding
The classic.
a classic, okay? And then again, rosewood back and sides. Is that a
Mahogany neck.
What's the top on that one?
That's a European spruce.
Is that a European spruce?
And that's a different body shape, by the way. These are both 808s. That's a traditional body shape, so it's a little more of an OM sized.
That's what I kind of compared it more to, was the
Yep,
OM, yeah.
yep.
And then now we have a Masterbuilt Tommy Emmanuel. So can you tell me some of the differences between the original Tommy Emmanuel and the Masterbuilt one?
You're upgrading the Sitka spruce top to a 3A. You're upgrading the Queensland maple. If you look at this one, it has some figure to it.
Absolutely.
And again, it's just made in smaller batches with even more detail than the production guitars as well.
So you're saying usually this is 1 to 2 luthiers all the way from start to ending on these guitars, correct?
Yeah, what these basically are custom shop guitars, but they're not customizable. So they're treated and made like a custom shop guitar would be, but to a book spec. So they're not available to switch out, fret size or scale length or nut width or anything. Or neck shape. It's standard. Like, for example, this one is standard to Tommy's specs, how he wants it. You cannot customize it, but it's basically a custom shop guitar.
Which comes out of necessity, right? We just said there's limited amount of production that can be done, especially when we level to the Master Built series. You've got less people that can be able to work on these guitars. It's not like we could just hire somebody in here, you work on necks for a while and you would do this. And that's not what these guitars are about. This is about bringing the boutique experience into that lineup. And you can't keep doing that in custom shop and supply people the amount of guitars that are necessary for the company.
Yeah, we started off right away with a bang with 4 different models. There's also a Dreadnought. There's the Classic. There's the Ellie Mae, and there's the Tommy guitars. So even though they're not customizable,
Dreadnought's right there. Yeah.
They're you have a choice of 4 different ones that all have different sounds. All of them are different woods. All of them are different tops. All of them are different back and sides. So you do have, even though they're not customizable, you have a nice choice of a variety.
Yes, this is great. I was absolutely blown away with this. I'm real excited about this because, for me, this was kind of like that next step of what was going to bring it in here. And like I said, I fell in love with the guitars. Those of you guys who watched the Fretboard Summit video, when we were running around, me and JP were running around, I actually bought this guitar, I believe, for $100.
You did. You handed me the money. Yeah.
And then
It was play money.
and I also didn't get to keep the guitar either, which I don't understand. Why did you not send me home with this guitar?
I think we gave you the money back. Here's your money back. Thank you.
But no, this is really cool because what made that even cooler to me was finding out from you guys, there's a very limited amount of dealers that are going to be carrying the Master Built series. And in fact, speak to that. What is that going to look like and why?
Right now you're the second dealer, and it's maximum we'll have is 3 in America just because they can't make so many. So we're happy. Thanks for coming.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Representation.
Absolutely.
And representation. What your shop means to players and what you do for players, and just doing this video alone is an example of that.
Well, we appreciate. As you know, we like to talk about. We love to talk about instruments, acoustic instruments in general. But when somebody's doing something special, it brings it in even more into our world. And it was awesome to know that you were interested at the same time that we were interested, and that's a really cool relationship. I'm so excited about having these new guitars in here. The Acoustic Shop is carrying the Standard Series, which is cool. We're going to be talking more about those. Great guitars, now the new Master Builts. And there's going to probably be some surprises along the way in the Master Built series too. I have a feeling we're going to see some more things. Because again, this is continual innovation. If you guys are enjoying this, please hit the like and subscribe button. Check out the website, theacousticshop.com. It is home of the Dreadnought Guarantee, where we can talk to you about great instruments such as Maton Guitars. I'm so excited to have both you, Rob, and Kevin in here to talk about this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
We're excited to be here. This is amazing.
I hope you're ready for lots of phone calls.
We're ready.
Because that's what I do. I'm the world's worst email person. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you on the next video. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this video, which I'm sure you will, and you want to get some more of the context of how we got together, we did a fun video with JP Cormier where these guys got to watch us act like complete idiots walking around the Fretboard Summit last year. We have a link to it. It's going to be probably right in my lap here somewhere that you can click. We'd love you guys to check that out, and also be on the lookout for more Maton content here at the Acoustic Shop. We'll see you guys later.